Welcome to the second episode of Big Local Live. And today I'm joined by Rachel, who's, who runs Creative Spaces London. And today I would like to find out a bit more about that and also a bit more things about what she does in the community. So, Rachel, I would like to ask you, what is Creative Spaces and what do they do?
Lovely. Hi Tarek, thanks for having me. Good morning. So Creative Spaces London is an arts and health organisation. So we look at working with communities and figuring out ways that we can help people to feel a little bit better every day, mostly by doing creative activities and by kind of making links and networks within their community. So kind of spending time with each other and how that makes us generally feel better. So we started Creative Spaces London about a year ago now. And we run projects during term time. So we run projects for mums that are about gaining confidence, meeting other mums, kind of looking after our mental and physical health and learning new skills. And then we run projects for kids during term time as well. And those are similarly about thinking how to keep well creatively. So talking to kids about how they're doing, thinking about our general mental health and well-being, but again, in a creative way so it doesn't get boring. And then the last thing that we do is a big holiday project. So in the summer holiday, we run a 5-week project for kids, and we have lots of families involved, lots of parents come and volunteer. We do well-being stuff. We have somebody called Davinia who comes in, does amazing cooking with the kids. We have young people like Juhi, who you probably know, and Mega and Harpreet, and a host of really great young people working with us. And we run drama and art and trips and all sorts of things.
Wow.
So yeah, that's what we're up to.
Wow, I want to join.
You're very welcome to come along.
Also, I would also like to ask you, you've also been volunteering for 4 years with Big Local. What have you been doing with them?
So I was introduced to Big Local by Bounce Theatre, which is a company that I used to work for. And yeah, we've had lots of adventures with Big Local. I think it's the last sort of 4.5 years. In fact, I think I started around the same time as Taz. So we were both kind of newbies together, which was nice because we've got to kind of learn as we go. But we've done loads of, we've been on trips to the beach, we've done cleanup days, we've had cooking things, we've had award ceremonies. There's been so many adventures, and I probably shouldn't say this, Tarek, but I work in a few different communities, and if I have a favourite, I have to say it is a little bit Hest and West, but shh, don't tell anyone.
What? So I've recently heard that you started Word of the Wednesday with Big Local. What is Word of the Wednesday?
So Word of the Wednesday is a weekly creative challenge. So on a Wednesday morning, I put out a word, and I've got a really good song that goes with it that I've worked very hard on that doesn't really have any lyrics, but I'm still working on that. I put out a word and I ask people to respond to it creatively. So that could be a poem or a drawing or a photo or a video. And really it's just an opportunity for people to have a little holiday in their brain for half an hour where they don't have to necessarily think about the bigger picture, what's going on, but just try to do something creative and just disappear a little bit for a little while into a creative place and then share with each other.
Yeah, I just wanted to add a question. Do you think people are learning from what they're doing?
Oh, that's such a good question. Do I think people are learning from what they're doing? I think this whole situation, we are all learning all of the time. I mean, I feel like every day is kind of a new challenge at the moment. I'm far less on autopilot or automatic than I was before. I think the thing about doing something creative is that sometimes we don't have the words or the language to kind of say how we feel, but once we pick up a pen or a paintbrush and we start doodling and see what comes out, then we can look at that page and think, oh, actually, you know, that's really, really dark, so that maybe that's how I'm doing, or that's really full of color and light, so maybe I've got more energy in me than I realize. Or, you know, I think sometimes we tell ourselves a story without realizing, being creative. So yeah, I think it is helping in a way.
I also think sometimes it's challenging for Word of the Wednesday, to pick the right word. How do you actually pick the right word?
That's a really good one. Can I just say, Tarek, I forgot to say, the thing I think we do learn is that if you're anything like me, I keep forgetting what day of the week it is because it all just merges into one. So the thing about having a Word of the Wednesday is I know that it's Wednesday. So every day I'm like, right, I'm learning it's Wednesday today because I've forgotten the rest of the days. Is it challenging to pick the word? Was that your question? Sorry, I'm talking
Yeah.
so much.
How is it challenging? Is it any challenging to pick the word? Is it challenging to pick the word?
Yes and no, because I'm hoping it's going to be a word that people can relate to. I don't want people to be put off by the word because I want them to get involved if they want to. But the way that I've tried to do it is just to try and think sort of like what's going on with me and my community. So the first word was change, and the reason that I picked that word was because I thought we're all going through such a big change, and people really took that in different ways as well. And then the second word was connect, because I felt that we'd kind of begun the change, which is still happening and is still huge, but we were starting to connect with each other, excuse me. And then this week was grow, because I feel like we're sort of settling into these crazy routines a bit more. So I try to base it on what I think's going on sort of with communities and how people are doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I like that. So I was recently yesterday at Bristol Court. Most people like to be creative. If I was to try and get, Bristol Court to do this sort of thing, what advice would you give me in order to do that?
It's another good question. What would I advise? I would advise choosing something that you find interesting and fun so that you can get excited about it when you're talking to people, because if you choose something that you're not excited about, it's really difficult to kind of get other people on board. If you're excited, then you've naturally got the energy to talk about it. You can probably see now, like my little arms are going, I'm always really excited. The other thing I think is talking to people. I think that really helps to kind of try and connect one-on-one with people, and see what their ideas are and go at it that way, rather than doing like a big blanket, everybody, do you want to do this? Because I think at the moment we're all getting so bombarded with so many things, text messages and stuff online, and it's nice to have that personal kind of touch and check in with people and see.
I'm going to try and get most people involved, and I'm going to tell them, someone gave me advice, and I would like to inspire other people. So thanks for that advice.
What would you like to do? Would you like to do a Word of the Wednesday? Or are you thinking of doing something?
Yeah, word of the Wednesday, but you can come in, or I don't know how we can do this, but I'm thinking of running it here, so we can have a separate one for Bristol Court, or they can get involved with us. Because I realized yesterday that we're all doing skipping challenges, art challenges outside. They really enjoyed it. Just gave me a quick idea.
So I'd love to have you involved if you want to be. That would be, and if you need any help, you just let me know. I'm really happy to help any way I can.
So anything else that you get involved with Big Local?
There probably is. I'm just trying to think at the moment. So I mean, our projects tend to keep me quite busy. I was involved in the community garden that's happening. I imagine at the moment things are probably maybe on pause, just because everything's on pause at the moment. But yeah, I was quite involved in that. So we were doing the summer projects, and I just knew about this little space and kept wandering down there with the kids and have all these visions of us spending time in these beautiful gardens. So yeah, I was really lucky to be involved in the planning with that. And yeah, sometimes, as I say, clean up days and barbecues and going on trips. And I'm really lucky because I always feel really welcomed into all of these different events, and yeah, get to spend time with the community. And it's kind of my community away from home, really. So yeah, there's lots of things to keep you busy with Big Local. I think it's never boring, ever.
I forgot to ask you, where can you find information about Creative Spaces London?
Oh, that's another good one. So we have an Instagram page, which is Creative Spaces London, all one word, and you can find us there. There's some information about our clubs on the Big Local website as well. You can contact me directly. And at the moment, because we are off doing sessions practically, we're doing a lot of them online. So we've got our Monday motivation, which goes out, and then Tuesdays we've got a mums group, which anybody is welcome to join. And that is really about supporting mums during this time, because lots of mums are suddenly having to do the housework, but also be a full-time teacher and be a full-time chef and do all of these things, and dads as well. But this group is for mums, so we'd love mums to come along to that. It's just a chance to kind of have a cup of tea and a catch up in 5 minutes. And then Wednesday is Word of the Wednesday, so people are welcome to get involved in that. Thursday we're doing the Creative Club for the kids, and that is run by myself and Juhi as well. And yeah, that's open from kids from sort of 5 years to 11 years. If they want to come along, again, it's free. We did it yesterday. And it's loads of fun. It's really silly, lots and lots of fun of everybody on the screen. And then on Fridays we have meditations, under 18 meditations. So anybody's welcome to come along to that, any kids or teenagers as well. So that's all the stuff that's kind of going on.
The Word of the Wednesdays. Are you going to run any competitions, or you do that Word of the Wednesdays? Are there going to be any competitions, or
what I would like to do with Word of the Wednesday is to collect all of this stuff that everybody's submitting. So everything that people send me, I save. And then when we get to a point when we're all allowed out again and we're all allowed to have a barbecue together or have a hug or whatever it is that we can do, go on a trip, I would like to make a big exhibition of all of our work to see all of the things that we achieved whilst we were in this situation. So that's kind of what I'm working towards. I'm hoping that everything comes in, be able to make a big gallery space, and everybody will be able to come and see all the beautiful work that was created during this time.
Because I'm hoping, to hopefully, because this project is going well, like we're doing now a podcast, I'm hoping to do competition for the best creative thing, best creative project that is run by Word of the Wednesday, someone, and if you tell me who the winner is, they'll get to be on one of these podcasts. That's what I'm hoping to do.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'd love to do that. That would be awesome.
That's what I'm hoping to do.
I think we should definitely do that.
And one last thing, we all know we love Taz. I was wondering if you could do a cartoon picture of Taz or some of the volunteers. It would be really fun to do that sort of thing.
I think that's an awesome idea. I think we should have a Taz of the Wednesday. So so the word should be Taz, and we'll see what comes back for that. I'm sure it will be beautiful.
So any last words to do with Big Local or Word of the Wednesday?
I think Do you know, sometimes it's hard to find words, isn't it? And I think particularly with Big Local, it's thank you, but sometimes, Tarek, that doesn't feel like enough. Do you know what I mean? Like, thank you doesn't feel like a big enough thing, because I really do. I see with the communities that I work with the impact that having Hester Most Big Local has on their lives, and how it really does change things for people. And for me, it's really changed things. And I know, just as myself, just Rachel, not Creative Spaces, I always feel really supported and really looked after, and like I'm not alone, and like I can do anything. They'll support me to try anything. And I think if I feel like that, how must other people feel? So I guess just a really, really big thank you for everything that they do and everything. And the great thing is Big Local's not one person, you know, it's a community, and without parts of that community it doesn't work. So a really big thank you to everyone at Big Local.
Forgot to mention, I just wanted to say any last words that you can motivate them to do Word of the Wednesday weekly.
Oh, how can I mean, if my song's not motivating you, I really don't know what will. I think just get involved. I mean, I think it's you can do it in 5 minutes, you can do it in 5 hours. It doesn't matter. If you feel like it, get involved. Sometimes when I've been feeling a bit sad during this 3-week period, what I found really helps me is if I just pick up a pencil or a paintbrush and I just start doodling and just see what comes out. So not even just with Word of the Wednesday, but generally, I think it's really useful tool to just kind of pick up a pen, pick up a pencil, pick up whatever you fancy, whatever your creative thing is, and just do it. And I think that really helps to give your brain a bit of a holiday and soothe you a little bit. But get involved.
Yeah, I'm really happy with that. So thank you for joining me today, Rachel.
Thank you for having me.
It's really fun. So if any of you want to be on the show, please see the link below. Not above. That would be great to have some. Yeah, thank you for joining me, Rachel. It's been a pleasure. And Taz working behind the scenes. Give him a shout out. So yeah, this is Big Local Podcast. I'm your host, Tarek Mrad. Thank you for joining me. Goodbye.
Thank you. Happy Easter from the Big Local Live Community Podcast. Yay!